girls from Florida here that want to talk crime. They're going to start their own TikTok. They're going to start their own podcast. Please introduce yourself.
Margaret Bassett, please.
Go ahead.
And I'm Vicky Case.
All right, what do you guys do for a living? I heard one of you are a model, right? Okay, and then what do you do?
Okay, so what I did, I was in corporate America for many, many years, and now I'm embarking on a new journey, and I'm starting my own podcast called Nobody Cares.
That's a good podcast because nobody does care anymore.
Nobody cares about anything. So that's the podcast, and it's about to launch with your help, Danny. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, yeah. So that's in the works. So I'm doing that. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm the managing editor of two luxury lifestyle magazines and publisher, and yeah, I'm doing modeling and acting forever.
Where are you guys in Florida right now?
We are in Jupiter, Florida, and Jupiter is about 15 minutes from Palm Beach, but we're in a very cool area. I always liken this area to California. When you live in California, to me, Palm Beach is Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
live more Santa Monica, Brentwood, and then Wellington is really like, Calabasas. So it's sort of like, it's really cool, and everything like is within 20 minutes to 30 minutes. And then, of course, Miami is where all the fun is, which we have yet to go to space. We keep talking about going to space in the morning. We want to take a Starbucks and go to space.
Right.
Space is like a 24-hour club.
Yeah.
But we're both from the Northeast. So I'm from New York City and
Westport, Connecticut.
And then we both moved here.
Yeah.
Right. I'm the same way. I'm from Pennsylvania. Like, Jimmy. Me and Jimmy grew up together, and now I live in Vegas the last 8 years, so I'm a West Coaster now. And I don't think I could go back. I'm sure you guys can't go back to the cold. Never again, right?
Honestly, intellectually, I'm starved because I do enjoy it down here, but I love to go up north.
We like sweater weather.
Yeah, I like to wear my jackets, my leather.
I'm actually in leather today, but it's actually 85 degrees outside. So yeah, it's pretty warm.
Yeah, it was about 80 degrees here today.
Misery every now and then.
Yeah.
You can't be surrounded by sunshine and palm trees all day long and Mercedes.
Yeah.
So listen, I want to talk. You guys are true crime fans, I'm sure, because I'm going to tell you this. I have like 360,000 followers on TikTok, and 70% of my followers are women because they love true crime. You know what I mean? Women they love it. And so my daughter texted me today. Did you guys hear about the Menendez? What'd you say? I didn't hear what you said.
They're getting ideas.
Oh, you getting ideas?
No, that's terrible.
For a role that I might play one day.
Oh, okay. So,
But honestly, I think
But let's brag about you for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Please tell them about your latest FinSpawn project, because that's really super duper fun. Please.
oh, people know about that already. That happened back in March. But I actually filmed 2 reality shows that were not picked up either. So
Yeah.
the entertainment business, I found out, is hurry up and wait and pray. That's what I found out about the entertainment business.
Look at you, created your own reality, and that's the power. This is so much more interesting than having to be filmed in false scenarios.
Yeah,
Because it's all
authentic.
scripted anyway.
Yeah.
It's more authentic.
Yeah. And like I said, I filmed a reality show for, believe it or not, the paranormal. They wanted me to be a TV host of a show. So I filmed one on that. And then I filmed one with the Lake Mead bodies in the barrel. Do you remember with the body that was found in the barrel out here in Vegas?
Oh, yeah, that was so gross.
Yeah, so that I filmed the reality show on that wasn't picked up either. So this entertainment business is rough.
I feel like if we had a reality show, we would be picked up. 'Cause the shenanigans with the two of us, maybe it would be.
But you
picked
know
up.
what? You have to produce it and direct it because you don't want them having control
Yeah, no
of what goes
control.
on behind the scenes.
No.
Because those
Yes.
I also find it a little depressing, honestly. There's so much going on in the world, and a lot of those shows tend to be very gripe-filled. They did a study back, and they like the Oprah audience, who is the core audience of women that watch that stuff. It was really interesting. More middle America, women that tend to be overweight and depressed. Because you know what? Honestly, I think there was stats on that. You can Google it and check it out. But it's sort of the feeling like when I've been on JetBlue and I watch Bravo back to back,
Right.
it's like something happens to you.
Yeah.
It's a downer.
It's such a
there's
downer.
something really sad that people treat each other like that. I don't like
Right.
it.
So listen, let's talk about our first subject. I think we talked about it a little bit before we went on air. Are you guys familiar with the Menendez case?
Yeah.
Of course, it's all that everyone is talking about.
Yeah.
Did you? And we grew up with it. I don't know how old you guys are. I'm assuming you're close to my age, right? Because you know Jimmy. So maybe my age. So you grew up with the whole trial and everything. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was
So-
on.
Do you agree with them? They may be released now. They're going to get resentenced, and I believe they're going to be released. Do you agree with this? Don't you? How do you feel about it?
I mean, again, it's, the parents are dead, so
Right.
who knows?
So we only have one story.
It's one story. It's a horrific story, and I think regardless of the crime, leave it up to the authorities. Don't ever take crime into your own hands. It really doesn't pay. I mean, that's my motto, and I think it was such a gruesome way to go. That's the only issue I have with that, really.
I agree too. Did you guys watch the documentary
Yeah.
or the TV show?
I watched the documentary, not the movie. Javier Bardem was in that movie, isn't he? Doesn't Javier Bardem and Chloe Sevigny, aren't they in the
Yes.
film?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that was really probably more what their version of the story was. I don't know, but I mean, it just seems really horrific if that really did happen to them. But
I think.
it's gruesome.
So I think that they have. Listen, I think if Kim Kardashian gets involved, everything seems to go. And then people get released. Like, it's pretty unbelievable to me that she gets involved like this for good causes too. And I do believe that they have
Right.
served so many years. And I know that like the younger generation,
Right.
they actually are very pro like get them
Freedom.
released.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
I think it's great.
We're probably thinking, well, why did they not go for help? Because I feel, but it was so many years ago and nobody was really talking about that as much as maybe now. And I don't even think now. I think it happens all the time now
Well,
too.
I think it was also like the fact that they went out and bought Ferraris. Like, it's not
Yes.
your typical, I
Yeah.
have led this miserable
It's a
life.
tragic,
It was
it's
like,
a tragic
I got
story.
some cash and I bought Ferraris and I'm having fun. So I don't know. Again,
They spent $800K after they killed their parents.
Yeah. So that, yeah, I think
that seems a little odd.
yes.
Yes. And see, I took a lot of hate online because I was against them being released. Because I just think, they were old people at that point. They were 18 and 21. They could have left their parents' house. That's just my feeling. But I could be wrong. My daughter's a therapist and tells me I'm wrong. She said they should be released.
But the trauma that they endured at such a young age, like it's just they didn't even know any other way out. So I don't know. Gypsy Rose is served her time as it was psychotic mother. I mean I don't know.
Right.
It's a tough one. I think they are going to be released tomorrow, right? I think tomorrow's the.
Well, I guess the DA got to say that he said he wants them resentenced. So it's going to be up to the judge when they have that court hearing. And then they said the judge is going to resentence them, the time served, and they're going to be released.
Yeah, they're going to be released, right?
Well, let's hope that.
Well, what kind of
let's
life
hope
is that after?
yes.
When they walk out?
Aren't they married? Didn't one of them get married in prison?
Yes, one of them got married, and you got. I don't know if you saw well, you said you did see the documentary. The one brother molested the other brother too. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, yikes.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know this much. I don't know much about this story. I tend to want to watch, Flowers and
Oh,
romantic.
No, I'm obsessed with it. Listen, with the whole idea of social media, the evolution of social media has just changed everything. Everyone has an opinion, and then Netflix gets a show. They get a show, and it just seems to me that lots of times when these shows are aired on Netflix, people start to become like Scott Peterson. Now there's a whole thing on TikTok like free Scott Peterson.
Yes.
Everyone has an opinion. When we were growing up, we just watched the news and we.
Right. And it came on at 11 o'clock. If you missed it, you got to wait the next day.
100%. And it wasn't that's where you got your news and you had to read it in the paper. So right now it's an unusual time, and I do think that the younger generation I can't even say they, I mean, not everybody, the people I speak to, they think that they should be released.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Because they're coming
they
in
did
from-
serve their time, right? So
Right.
they served their time for the crime served, and that's what our system is based on, and God bless them. I mean, I hope that, I hope they go out and do some good and they're able to. I mean, look, it's horrific, right? And nobody knows what really happened, but it's the whole story is just so super horrific.
It is horrible. And you know what? You brought up Scott Peterson, so if you don't mind, let's jump right into that. Because you guys are familiar with that case. That's another case we all grew up with, right?
Yeah. That's gross. Yeah. I don't.
Now, I'm going to tell you my opinion, and listen, I welcome your response. If you don't agree with me, tell me to go to hell, okay? So you can tell me your opinion too. But here's my opinion. I think 99.9% he's guilty. But I don't know if you guys know, Jimmy, I don't know if Jimmy told you, I was a cop for 27 years.
He did.
I know the legal system, and I just never thought he should have been convicted because they didn't have any solid evidence on him. There was no DNA, there was no nothing.
I didn't think that you were going to say that. Okay.
There was like nothing, like I was shocked when they found him guilty because like there was nothing there other than they said he was cheating on her and he went to the ocean where she was found. Other than that, that's all they had. There was no physical evidence at all. Other than this guy's a bad man, convict him. You know what I mean? That's all they had.
There wasn't something found in his trunk or cleaning products? No, there wasn't something.
No, they found nothing. And listen to this. Here's the other thing that's going to shock the hell out of you because it shocked me too. They don't know where it happened. They have no crime scene. There's nowhere to say she was murdered here because they went through that entire house and found nothing. Nothing. So that's why he's going to get a new trial. The Innocent Project of Los Angeles picked it up, and they believe he's innocent because there was a burglary right across the street the night it happened, and then they found a van that was set on fire with a mattress behind it, and they have a witness that say they forced a pregnant woman out of that van and she peed on the side of the road and then they put her back in the van.
Really?
Yes.
Was that? So the only way I just know about the kids from the Ben Affleck movie, and actually Ben did such a great job. I don't like him.
Yeah, right.
Oh, did he play Scott Peterson? I didn't remember that.
Yeah, he played Scott Peterson, didn't he? Wasn't that Gone Girl?
Oh, I don't know. That was so long ago. I don't remember. Oh, wow.
If I'm talking about the right girl, Gone Girl.
Yeah,
I don't
Gone
know.
Girl.
Oh, yes. Gone Girl. Yes,
Right,
okay.
maybe your fans will type in and correct us, but I think that when he did that, he played that role so well that I thought that.
And what
Definitely.
state was that in again?
California. Mesdo. I think, am I saying it right? Mesdo or Mesda? I forget the name of the town in California.
And how many years has he been in prison?
Oh my God, over 20. Easy over 20. But do I think he did it? I still think he did it. Okay? Yeah. I just think there is no evidence to prove he did it. And that's what the court's saying. The court's saying the jury should not have convicted him. And I'll explain it to you ladies so you understand the system. There's circumstantial evidence, and then there's evidence with, value. Okay? We're talking fingerprints, DNA, blood evidence. That's valuable evidence. Circumstantial evidence is him having an affair. Circumstantial evidence is him fishing in the ocean where she was found. That's all circumstantial. You can't convict somebody on circumstantial. You need circumstantial and hard evidence together, like the DNA, the blood, the fingerprints. And they didn't have that. They only had circumstantial. The jury got it wrong. Honestly, they did. They shouldn't have convicted him because there was no evidence to say he did it. I know. He's going to get a new trial. I'll guarantee he's next. He's getting a new trial. I guarantee it.
What do you think about the Innocence Project? Like who else have you...
I believe they also got with this case, the Menendez brothers too. They're involved in that case too.
Oh yeah.
They say they only pick cases up that they believe the person's not guilty.
I have to look into that again and really look at the details, but it's sad. But listen, I'm happy. If they didn't, if what they've gone through, really wasn't, they're free and they've served their time.
Oh my God.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's just the abuse that this sexual abuse is really hard.
Right. And you know what? People brought stuff up to me because I was against the Menendez brothers, and they were like, think about the 80s and stuff like that. That stuff wasn't talked about as much as it's talked about now. You know what I mean? It was hidden.
Jim said we have a guest here. He said he didn't.
He didn't?
He popped
He
his
just
head
popped
out.
in. Yeah. Yeah. He did.
But listen, then you got to go back, ladies, to Gypsy Rose. Are you familiar with her?
Yeah, I mean that story. I mean, who?
Do you agree with her being released or no?
Oh,
Was
that
it
mother,
Gypsy
that
Rose?
mother,
The
that
mother was
just
horrible.
oh,
Was
horrendous. And remember, like,
The Munchausen?
yes,
That was the Munchausen
yes,
mom, right?
She was horrendous. I wish Gypsy all the. That is just one of the saddest stories. Again, I mean, we didn't know what we didn't know until then these documentaries come out, and you become like such an advocate for these people. You so invested in these crime shows, and you see.
I wish that they would do that also for guys that are in jail for, drug deals and things like that and smaller crimes. I'm just more of an advocate for that because there are so many guys sitting in prison really unnecessarily just causing so much pain, and they're really ruining their lives for things, and that they really could have been rehabilitated. And that's sort of like what I like to work on here in where we are in West Palm. It's terrific.
Yeah, but I do think that Kim was able to get out. Here I am, like, I know Kim Kardashian, but I think what she got out was somebody.
You know her by first name.
So Kim and I were talking, and we got somebody out who on a drug charge, I believe.
And that was amazing. That was a woman that was in jail for like 30, 40 years, something insane. She was she became a grandmother in jail.
Yes.
And that was really beautiful work. And I think that really is quite redeeming for her in her life, that it really has huge value when you use your fame and fortune for something like that. I love that.
Well, listen, I got to go back to your drug thing. I agree with you. Think about this. Marijuana is legal in probably 25 states now. But yet there's states that you can go to jail for it. You can go to federal prison for it. I mean, to me, I don't know how you guys feel they should legalize it federally. And that's coming from a Republican. Okay? I'm a Republican, and I still think it should be federalized.
And prostitution, it's like the poor people really go to jail and are the victims of that. They never really catch the true culprits of that,
Exactly.
It's really painful. And I've seen it's wreaked havoc, especially on young men's lives. When something like that happens to you, 15, 16, and the jail system and what happens, and it's on your record, it's like, even think of what happened to those boys at Duke, right? Like, even though they were cleared, right?
It's on their name.
Destroyed forever. And there's always going to be that shred of doubt in somebody's mind, what they want to believe. And I think, if they're going to start doing that, it should be something that hopefully is turned around immediately.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. I'm always for, and like I said, I'm a Republican. So it's weird hearing this from a Republican. But the criminal justice system should really be reevaluated. Think about this, ladies. At 18 years old, you can go in a store and steal a couple candy bars, and it's held against you for the rest of your life. That's insane. It makes people be criminals. They have to be criminals because they can't get a job. I mean, it's just insane that we allow that to happen.
Yeah. Well, I hope Diddy rots in jail.
Oh, so do I. So what do you guys think of that? Let's bring that up. That's a good thing. What do you think of that?
Oh my gosh. And again, we're from this area, right? Like,
oh yeah, that's right. I forget he lives in Florida, right?
Yes. And the glitz and glam of this area. And like, so my daughter's in Miami, and it's just, I can see how these children can forget Diddy for a second, but like this whole idea of what is going on down in all these major, like New York City, Miami, Chicago, all these cities, you meet so many, you think fabulous people of wealth, people that are powerful, and it's like intoxicating for young people sometimes. Right. There's like the CEO that was just arrested from
Abercrombie and Fitch.
They prey on these children that are so vulnerable, and it's absolutely disgusting. I think he is such a sick psycho, and everybody who was around the entire situation for all those years and said nothing, I hope they all rot in hell. and jail. It's
Look, you know
awful.
what it is? You don't abandon your children ever in Hollywood. I've been a model most of my life. My brother and sister, you never leave a child on set alone. Ever. You just never do. And it's heartbreaking to see, what Justin Bieber has gone through.
I know.
But it's also heartbreaking when somebody has so much talent and somebody can kind of corrupt you and make you feel like you have to do that. And that's really where the moral code comes in, right? I think we just have to do a better job of raising kids. Like, just don't go there because nothing is worth it. I mean, that will be a lifetime of mental illness and nightmares for you. Because
You got to realize, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you know this. Diddy was raping women and raping guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. This was like the sickest thing I've ever heard. I mean, how did this guy get away with this for 20 some years? You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Well, haven't you noticed now also all the shows that they're going back on tape and they're showing these little digs and like things that like he said on interviews with Ellen or something, and they're like,
Yeah.
it was there, But again, they were willing participants in the sense they went to the party, and I mean, you kind of have to be grown up about it because there's grown men that were doing that, right? Like,
Right.
ours were grown men, and if you need fame that bad, well then muzzle tough, you can't complain. Like, I'm sorry, you can't willingly do something like that for fame and fortune and not, I'd say, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't only kids, these were grown men that were involved in this. Right?
Yes. I just did a video too. And to my followers out there, guys, you can ask questions. I'll put them up. We have a lot of people in there, just nobody's asking questions. Any questions, put them up. We'll answer them. But I just did a video. A 13-year-old girl has came out, said Diddy raped her. He took her back after the Video Music Awards, MTV, took her back to his place. He gave her a drink. She felt like she was feeling unconscious, sleepy, and a famous actor raped her, and Diddy and another female famous actor watched the event. So when that comes out, shit is going to hit the fan because they said they're both famous people.
I can't wait. I'm here for it.
I can't wait either. And you know what? I'm not going to say who I think it is, but I'm pretty sure I know who it is. And I'm going to tell you this. Things came out today that Jennifer Lopez was involved in this. It's in the news today. That Jennifer Lopez was at these freak things.
That she was dating him all those years and saw nothing? Give me a break.
Yes.
With that.
I mean, I think we're going to see major people go down. Major. Yep. There, one of my followers is saying it was J-Lo. It's all over the news today that J-Lo was at these parties and on video. I mean, that's insane. It's just crazy. I mean, now you're going to think 75% of Hollywood's involved in this shit. I mean, it's crazy.
But we've been hearing about this for years. We know it's all coming.
Yep.
And I work with an artist. So I work with an artist. Her name is Grippa. You guys should go listen to her son every Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora. Grippa, she's 18. She's amazing. She's going to be, and right? She's super talented. But like, it's scary, right? Because everybody wants to get involved in with her in terms of like record executives, and I mean she's going to be this huge. She already is, but it's like so scary to relinquish the control for someone like me, her parents, because you see this disgustingness that goes on, and it's like, how are we going to protect these kids? And it's just terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying because this entertainment business is dirty.
And you know what? Think about this. And I'm talking about both candidates, so I'm not going to pick a side. Both candidates are bringing celebrities out to help them, but they got to realize they don't know if these celebrities are involved in this shit. Because there's a ton of them involved in this shit. A ton of them. Now, I think Jamie Foxx just came out and said Diddy poisoned them.
Yes.
I think Diddy killed Tupac. I'll be honest with you. That's my gut. I really do. And I think he might have killed the Biggie, too. It's insane. Totally crazy.
What are they saying now about Twitch? That like somehow someone was saying that today too, that somehow, he committed suicide, but like, was he involved in I don't know.
That Twitch that was on the Ellen show you're talking about. Yeah, okay. I know who you mean.
Oh, the DJ.
Yes. The guy that danced all the time and all that stuff.
People people were saying today. But it's all on, listen, you could find anything on social media and TikTok. You scroll and there's all these conspiracy theories, and there's, I'm not going to get into all of them, but I mean, you can find anything on social media. But yeah, now who knows? Who knows? But we have, like, a lot of our news now is coming from, he was not followed Twitch. I heard it from a live source. Okay, good. No, see. Okay, that's good. I'm happy. And I love Twitch so much. It was so sad.
It was sad. And you know what? Now, I mean, there's all conspiracies out there. Remember in LA that what's her name? Anne Haines or whatever that was killed in that car accident?
Yeah.
They're saying now they killed her. There's all kind of conspiracies. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just, it's crazy. But think about all these people. I mean, some of these basketball players, LeBron James, all of these guys, they were at his parties too. It's just it's insane.
I remember growing up, and you're in the Hamptons, because we're Hamptons girls, right? If you got invited to the white party, like, that was...
Well, the thing is, though, that because I was invited to quite a few parties, but you always left before midnight. I always tell, be Cinderella, leave before midnight, nothing good happens. Nothing good happens really after 10 o'clock. Like, and if you're a professional and you're really in the industry, like, and you don't do drugs, and you don't, because let's face it, like, what good really comes of that? You need to go home. And then people know. They know that you're not that person.
Yeah.
And I really felt very, very safe in that regard. But I also wasn't that fascinated with celebrity whatsoever. I was always just like looking for a nerd.
And you were like hanging in Studio 54.
But I had like my posse. Like I had really amazing friends that dressed me up. It was like we've been 14, 15, sneaking in on the train from high school and going out in New York. But it was honestly a little bit different. And I always went with a really good group. But I think anybody that's really a fan or I'm really happy. I've just never been that interested in celebrities, like, at all. I've always had a price on my head.
Let me ask you something. I think we all talk. We all have daughters, right? I have 2 daughters. You guys both have daughters, correct?
My son.
Would you want them to get into the entertainment business now? Would you be a little nervous?
My sister was a big model when she was little. She was a top model, but my mom went with her everywhere. And my daughter was offered, a contract years ago when she was little. And honestly, I just wanted her to have a normal life. Like, I wanted her to go to school and also I would have had to have been there with her, going to, all those little Nickelodeon auditions. And I don't know, there's just something pretty sad about it. It's not theater. It's not really, getting top line acting, credits. It's a lot of little taggy TV stuff. And now when you look at most of the stars, I mean, most of them have come from Nickelodeon, right? So you can only imagine what they've all been through.
Oh, because yes, I know.
They all come through that channel. And then they had that guy. What about that guy that went to jail, who basically was the Nickelodeon producer?
Yeah. What's his,
that guy that went to jail?
Yes.
What was his
my
name?
gosh. It was,
and I mean,
yes, I got it. I know who you mean. Harvey Weinstein or whatever, right?
No, Harvey was the senior.
Okay.
Harvey was with the old, at least age appropriate women. But no, the whole thing is just horrific. Yeah. It's just not as glamorous as it seems.
But I do work, like I said, with an 18-year-old artist, and she's amazing. And so she's.
But at 18,
she's
so
talented, and so like I
don't go into that room.
Right.
Be protected. You say no, and if it means saying no, you also have to deal with that. And that's the thing. A lot of people go and they go down that road, and then obviously they're upset about it. But they kind of, you just can't go down that road.
And you brought up a really good point, because everyone who's her inner circle, everyone she's surrounded by is like, they're watching everything. And,
and you have to.
You have to, like, to your point, you can't just like leave and say like, okay, you're going to go off to LA by yourself, or you're going to you've got to be with people who really truly care about you. Like, look at Whitney Houston. She's surrounded by all those people making so much money from her. Nobody did anything. She's right. I mean, horrific bunch of people that she was surrounded by. It's awful. So my daughter, unfortunately, is I don't. She doesn't want to ever go down that road. She's a business major, and so happy about that. But no, it is really scary. But I have to tell you, she's in Miami, and that was a big thing for me. Like, do I send her down there? Because you hear about all these things that are going on.
It's everywhere, though.
But it's everywhere.
Small
It's
towns,
everywhere.
it's in mill towns,
It's
in religious
everywhere.
organizations. It's
Yes.
it's everywhere, and you just really. I think the hard part is that you can't trust. And
Right.
you think about it. Look at that girl that was murdered working at Burger King. It was the father of a friend or of an employee that took her home and murdered her. Like,
Yeah.
Somebody's dad, and you think, oh my God, so and so's dad's going to drive me home. She was
Right.
actually, wasn't she kidnapped for a long time? I think she was held for a long time, and then
Yes.
So it's hard when you tell your kids don't talk to anybody, don't sleepovers. What about the guy that drugged the 4 teenage girls? Did you
Oh yes, he gave them smoothies to put that.
And
Yes, drugged them.
Does anybody know what happened to those girls?
What happened? This is what happened. I did a video on it. Actually, got 1 million views. Right. What happened was they were actually like 12 and 13-year-old girls or something like that.
Yeah.
His daughter had a sleepover and he drugged them. And the one girl started feeling like she didn't feel right, so she called her mom, and then her parents came and they found out he drugged all the kids. Now he's saying he was drugging them so they could go to bed. But who the hell knows? But he's been arrested. I mean, he's in jail.
Hey, by the way, on like a whole different topic, but it is crime. Have you been seeing that TikTok it's like all over my feed about the insurance scam where the guy stopped on the Belt Parkway and then put his car in reverse?
Oh,
Yes, I seen it. Yes,
I saw
yes,
that.
I seen it. It was caught on camera.
Oh my God! Now we all need dash cams. Like, what was that about?
Ding, ding, ding. Dash cams. I've got to make some dash cams.
Yeah. I mean,
For anybody that doesn't know what she's talking about, there's a video where a person on purpose cut in front of a person and slammed on the brakes. And when the person didn't hit them, they threw it in reverse and hit them and told the cops they hit them so they could get insurance money. But the person had a dash cam and it was all on camera.
She was on the phone with her husband or boyfriend. And,
Oh, is that what it was?
And so you heard her talking through all of it through the dash cam, and he's telling her, he was giving her advice, whatever it was, but it was so hard to imagine. And then 4 people piled out of the car.
acting like they're all like hurt already. They're like this and like coming out like all like disheveled. Like
No, it's nuts.
It's crazy. You can't trust anybody anymore.
a dash cam. Everything has to be in every single car because that's the life. Now I have to worry about that. Like, and it's targeting women. It's targeting us. It's targeting women. It doesn't happen to men. It happens to us. So they.
That's a good point. Do you feel that? I mean, we grew up in the '80s. I'm assuming you did. Would you believe it's unsafe more for women now? I do, but I don't know how you guys feel.
So that what, growing up in New York, I will tell you, I think that I think that we are not as on top of it. Like, I'm a runner. I never run with headphones. I never ran with a Walkman. Everybody's looking at their phone. People are distracted. They're not on it. And I always, it's funny. I said to my mom, and you'll love this because you're. And I just said, Mom, if something happened to me, it was so thoroughly plotted and planned that there was no way out. Because everywhere I went, and I traveled the world at a young age, I was modeling, went over to Europe at 15, taking the plane by myself, like doing the whole thing. But I think we were much more mature. I think the girls are at a bigger disadvantage today. And I think you have many more access, like online. I mean, TikTok, DMs. Girls are really in a dangerous zone because they're accessible. Snapchat, people know where you are. The Uber, the Lyft, I just remember sometimes being in taxi cabs in New York, the first thing that I would always do is unroll the window because I had an access. And then when the guys, when the electric, would put the electric up, I'd put my arm, I'd be like, could you leave the window open? Like, I just always thought wherever I was to have an escape route. And in the park, again, never running with anything, and I always have a knife with me, even though it's illegal. Mace is illegal too, I think, in New York. I don't think you can run with it, but like, I'm not going to run without a knife.
Right.
How do you run with a knife?
It's just a cool little necklace one.
Oh.
Are they going to arrest me for that?
I know. Well, I want a knife.
Listen, you brought up a good point. This is a real good point.
more savvy and street smart and mature at a younger age. Whereas now I think the girls have all of this access and all of these tools, but I don't think they're as mature.
Well, can I tell you something? I started my career in the South Bronx. So my career as, with corporate America, my territory
You and Jayla.
was in the South Bronx, and I was never scared because there was such a police presence.
Yeah, that's right.
Everywhere I went, I saw a cop, fist bumping a cop. They were just everywhere. So
Little Italy, New York, the best place to live.
Yeah.
For girls.
I'm sure the food was good too.
Where?
Yeah, you said Little Italy, right? The flag's back there.
Yeah, it was like watching you.
So I was never, not one day ever afraid, ever. But I had to
Yeah,
tell
and the
you,
police presence now is different. Like
It's
all the
different,
guys in New York, I mean, I'm in New York all the time. They're on cell phones. They're really like, they can't get so involved. And then somebody that looks like they could be, they really don't have a lot of power anymore.
You're right. They were stripped of their power. Let me explain that to you real quick. The cops are looking at it this way. They're like, every time I do something now, I get in trouble. So why do anything? So the cops are sitting on their hands. Believe me when I tell you, they're sitting on their hands. They're afraid to do anything.
Yeah, you can see it.
and then I moved. So I was in New York, and then I moved to New Orleans, and like I said, never afraid in New York. Then I went to New Orleans, and I don't know. I was a little bit more. It's a little more there. So, but then it was like, it was okay. I just knew where to go, where not to go. New Orleans is the best city in the world. I love it. If you haven't gone, you've gone to New Orleans.
Actually, I have never been to
Oh my gosh!
And I want to do a road trip to New Orleans.
Okay.
And I'm going to pack a knife.
Yes.
And my Glock.
But I think after COVID, I don't know if I would want to go back and live there. I don't know.
I think that the best thing for kids is if you took their phone away and made everybody graduate, like, a little, without the cell phones, how to navigate a situation, how to navigate your way out of a situation, and just remember the clubs that we used to go to. Like now, the overattendance, right? I mean, that's crazy. You can die. You can get crushed. The building can collapse. There's so much going on. But I don't know. I think street smarts have gone out the window, and a sort of empathy on people. Like in the subway, you can tell. You always know who the weirdos are.
Right.
Don't make that eye contact. You just slowly sift away, walk slowly. It's almost like walking away from a bear. Back up slowly, just be cool. But I hear things all the time that happen in the city. I am a city girl. I love it.
Yeah.
So I fortunately have not felt that. I've always felt the city. It also has to do with who's running the city, right? I mean, everything from Dinkins to Koch to Giuliani. I mean, remember when Giuliani came in, everybody thought he was, terrible, but I mean, my God, he cleaned the city up, and everybody forgets that's the only reason why Broadway exists, right? 42nd Street, where it was peep shows, and now it's one of the wealthiest streets in the world because of all the Broadway shows. But you weren't going to Broadway like you were now. Times Square is like a tourist attraction.
Yeah,
you couldn't
right.
go.
True.
You wouldn't want to be there at 8.
Yes.
You pull up in the cab, you jump out, you be with your friends.
Well, the mayor's been arrested now.
What mayor of New
The
York?
mayor of New York City is under federal indictment.
Yeah.
Are you joking?
No.
No, and his police chief is too.
I was having drinks
Oh my God,
outside.
this is so depressing.
I was having drinks outside the Mark Hotel the other night on Madison Avenue, and he walked into Madison Avenue, and actually my friend said, "What is he doing here? He's in trouble." And I mean, the
He is.
5-star, very posh.
Oh man.
It's funny.
He's not. Let me explain to you what he was doing. His police chief was going into nightclubs and being like the mob, saying, "Give us 10 grand and we won't bother yous." And if they didn't give him 10 grand, they were sending cops in to harass them. I'm not kidding you. And they did a federal indictment on the police chief. Then the new police chief came in and they did a search warrant on the new police chief's house. And then a week later, the mayor was arrested. He turned himself in. He is arrested right. He's working as the mayor on a federal indictment right now.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No, he's on a federal indictment. He's going to jail. He's probably going to jail for 10 years.
Yeah. He'll be with Megan during Hurricane.
Yes.
I actually lived in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina, And yeah, that was disappointing with that mayor.
He went to jail
Yeah.
for fraud.
They were basically in New York, they were acting like the mob. Because that's what the mob does. The mob goes, we'll protect you, but you got to pay us $5,000 a month. And that's what they were doing. The police were doing it. I mean, it's crazy. Totally insane. I can't even believe it went on.
It's such a hard life though, being a cop too. You know, it's really tough. It's tough.
I would love to be a cop.
That's why I like firefighters.
I want to be a cop so bad. I should. If I was to do it over again, I want to be FBI or actually.
I could see you like FBI,
Yeah.
like Paris Hilton FBI.
Yeah. CIA.
Yeah.
Did he have the?
I don't know what that means. New York? I don't know what that meant.
Oh, that Diddy also had New York. I mean, he was New York, Miami, and
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
What was I going to say? But yeah, I would love to be a cop.
Oh, you know what? One thing I wanted to bring up, and then we got on another subject. You talked about carrying mace.
yeah.
I think every woman that goes jogging, walking should carry that, because I'm telling you, what that is, ladies, is it's cayenne pepper. So if you ever cooked and got a piece of pepper in your eye, this is that red pepper, cayenne pepper, and it's hundreds of pieces will be sprayed in the guy's eye. I agree with that 100%, that you should carry it.
But here's what I said. So if someone's going to attack, I'm going to have the time to go in and get them. Like,
No, you run with it. I mean, you have.
You're
to-
wrong, but you should keep it in your hand.
My girlfriend in Long Island actually has a taser that I don't know how she came about purchasing it, but it's the taser that the police use, and she runs with it.
Really?
And she runs in Long Island in the
yeah, but
morning.
people still say like keep me.
I just don't want anybody getting that close. Like, you know, you like to have the mace at least, because you could, even if you know your jujitsu moves, and you can, and I mean, I definitely know self-defense, and I've practiced it, and I've done it, but that means that somebody's already gotten that close to you. It's just really nice to keep that arm lengths away, you know, spray, and then you're not.
And the other thing is get the liquid spray, because if you just get the regular spray, if it's windy, it could be sprayed back on you. It actually squirts out like a stream instead of like a cone. It sprays out a stream. That's the one you want to get.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear. That's going to come at me instead. I'll be like,
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Here's the difference between a stun gun and the pepper spray. If you hit him once with the pepper spray, he is down for 20 minutes to 30 minutes. The stun gun, you got to keep stunning them. You got to keep stunning them. So I always say the pepper spray's better. It's better.
Okay. Well, you know, I carried one at, they gave me one at the ranch. I was just in Montana. I had like a cool week out there, and they have it for bears. So,
oh
yeah, that means you have to have it.
right, yes, good point.
Now listen, ladies, are you guys on TikTok?
Yes.
Okay, have you seen the bear or the man that you'd want to be on an island with? Did you see that comment?
No.
Okay, there's a big trend on TikTok for women. If you were on a desert island, would you rather be stranded with a man or a bear?
Man, of course. I mean,
All the women were picking a bear. They said they don't trust a man. They'd rather be with a bear.
they said they'd rather be with a bear?
Yes!
Really?
They trust bear more than they trust a man. There you go. Definitely the bear.
Wow. That's really funny though. I don't know. I'd rather a man. I mean,
I don't know. I think a man.
somebody needs chocolate.
Listen, they're just saying that, they're saying that men are so violent now and so much stuff is going on that they're just scared of men. You know what I mean?
Oh, come on. There's great guys out there. I mean, look, it's twofold, right? I mean, I think the world is very interesting because women also, look, I have a son who's a good looking kid. Hey, Conrad, if you're watching. And I also know women, and we know women, right? I mean, sometimes conveniently things can happen where it's convenient for them to say something happened and it really didn't. So having a son that's really super sweet, super cute,
Yes,
I have to say anytime you're uncomfortable,
yes.
where somebody could be getting, weird or say something potentially the next day that could really hurt you,
Right.
you have to be careful. So I think the world is definitely become a little nutty, but I I think for the most part we're good, and I think there's great men out there. I really do. I think.
Thank you. I usually, when I get on TikTok, all I hear is men being bashed.
No.
We're worse than the monster out there somewhere.
You don't want to tussle with them.
Yeah,
I mean,
they scare me.
I like guys. I'm definitely more of a guy's girl in that regard. You know, I love I love a little bit of tomboy in me, but some of these women are really tough. I don't want to tussle with them. So I think it goes both ways. But I've really had great experiences. And I will tell you, you use your sixth sense. And so getting back to sort of like safety today as compared to, maybe 15, 20 years ago, I think the cell phones have dumbed it down. Like you think you're sitting in the Uber, right? And you're scrolling through your phone. And then all of a sudden you look and you're like, where's this guy going? Or like, is your daughter focused on the route home? Does she know where the route home is? And I think there's just so much distraction that you have to be on it and really alert.
So,
really
and the other thing,
especially with drinks. My girlfriend was just roofied in like she was at this lovely crunchy kind of like fair, where there was like families and doing stuff, and she doesn't really drink much alcohol. She had a beer. She was roofied, and I think when you're roofied, when you pee, it gets rid of it, so you can't tell. Doesn't that go right away? Doesn't it go out through the urine?
Yes.
When you're roofied, it's unless you go right to the doctor or get tested or something, but it literally goes out. And maybe that's what, who was doing.
Right.
Because a lot of it is undetectable. Right? It kind of causes you and make it. But yeah, she's had like some health things for the last month that have occurred. So sometimes people are doing things as a prank, and it's not necessarily to have sex with you, right? It's like randomly doing something crazy. So I've always been funny about food that's open and out, like even Starbucks, like too many people touching stuff. Like I always try to just go the cleanest route and just be careful because it could be a prank that somebody.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Listen, you ladies know I live in Las Vegas, right? And we are the biggest trafficking state in the country. I mean, women get abducted here and trafficked. Like it happens all the time here. Like it's scary here. But I just did a story. I don't know if you guys. I just did a story where a girl was at the Dallas Mavericks basketball game with her father. She was 15 and said she was going to the bathroom. On her way to the bathroom, she was abducted and trafficked.
Yes. I know that's right.
I mean, could you imagine taking your 15-year-old daughter to a basketball game? I mean, it's crazy.
What happened? What happened?
10 days later, somehow they got her back. They found out where she was and they got her back. I guess the police did a raid and they caught the people and got her back.
Oh my God. Yes.
And her life is forever destroyed.
Oh my God. And the dad.
She's scarred forever.
And then people were saying, why did the dad let her go to the bathroom by herself?
Let a 15-year-old.
I know, right? So the guilt of the dad. Oh my God, that is,
Yeah, it's at a basket. You would think, I mean, there's so many people. How would it happen, right? That's what you would think. But you got to protect them at all costs. It's crazy. I worry about my daughters. My daughters are 28 and 31, and I worry about them every day. Honestly, every day. It's crazy.
Well, I do tell my daughter, so you brought up the drinking, and so I won't say what school because they're trying to keep it under wraps, but there was a girl that the student that got so drunk, did not have any friends with her, went in an Uber by herself, went back to the college, and the Uber driver raped her at a very prominent school. Yeah.
In Florida?
No, in actually his state, your ex-state.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and and they were. I guess they were. Anyway, he got caught. He's he's going to go to jail probably for many years. But it's over. Girl's life is because she went drinking and she didn't surround herself with friends in the Uber. But this Uber thing is scary.
I know it is. It's funny. You know what I took that I really enjoyed in San Francisco? The Waymo. Have you been in those? I don't know.
No.
Vegas. They're amazing. They're the autonomous cars.
I heard how awesome.
And their Jaguars are beautiful. And honestly, it's so clean. It's so lovely. You order it, you get in. The minute you get in the car, you press go. I mean, I'm in love with it. If I could get one here, I love it. And I think about getting the Tesla all the time because I love some Elon. My Elon.
Yeah.
So,
In fact, I was with a friend last night, and she was saying that she's, the self.
oh, they're amazing, and they're
It's so
just
awesome. She
clean,
loves
and
them.
I don't know. I liked the old-fashioned taxi cabs because the guys were mostly you could have a conversation with them and they were vetted, and when you have that medallion, they spent a lot of money to have those medallions. Lyft and Uber, it's sort of like
Right.
anybody.
Could be anybody.
It could be
Well,
anybody.
you partner.
Jeffrey Dahmer could be picking you up. You know what I mean? You don't know.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is horrible.
Dahmer, like that was probably the most disturbing Netflix series. Netflix, right? I'm pretty sure Netflix. Series.
Yeah, that was Netflix. I couldn't watch that. I'm not watching anybody that eats people.
And the cop, they came, they saw, they didn't put two and two together, and they left.
Yes.
Oh my God, that was the worst. That was the absolute worst of any show. Silence of the Lambs was the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Until I saw Dahmer. That was just sick, sick, sick.
Oh my God, it's crazy. But getting back to Vegas, and I'm gonna give you. My daughter lived here for a while. She just moved back to Pennsylvania. She lived here for 8 years. She graduated from UNLV. And here's the thing what she told me. She said, Dad, you can go anywhere, walk by yourself. Women can't. We always have to be worried. She tells me she goes to Walmart and gets catcalled on her way to the car. You know what I mean? She said, everywhere you go, we got to be aware. And I'm going to give you an example. I play poker a lot. I'll probably go, after we get done here, I'm going to go to the Venetian on the strip and play poker. I'll probably get done at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll be walking that strip at 3 a.m. and I'm safe. If a woman was walking that strip at 3 a.m., it wouldn't be safe. It wouldn't. There is a difference between a man being alone and a woman, without a doubt.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, without a doubt. I mean, it's a fact. When they talk about privilege, men do have a privilege. Like I hiked today. I was hiking for 2 hours by myself today. If a woman went hiking, she might be in danger. You don't know. You know what I mean? You just don't know.
That's true. I don't think I would ever go hiking by myself.
No, I mean for many reasons I don't go hiking by myself. Just like you don't want to fly a plane by yourself.
Yeah, if you get sick, nobody can land it.
Yeah. No, I think there's many things that you don't want to do, but then it really does become a little debilitating, But
Yeah, but I always feel like when I'm in New York City, I'm so safe because I'm around so many people.
I do too. I mean, honestly, I feel New York is one of the safest places because it's not random little acts. It's sort of like you know where to go. You walk in the middle of the sidewalk. Right there's doormen everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always felt safe in New York.
I've always felt safe. My sister lives in, so my family still lives in New York City, and my sister was attacked, and everyone around her, though, this was right after COVID when everyone had lost their mind, and it was just coming out, people were just starting to come out, and she was with my nephew, and Danny, you let me know how you think someone should handle this, but this person just came up to her and said, to my nephew, I want your shoes. And she was like, not today. And
Right.
she took him down. Like when you have they say people have those like you could take a car if you're like, women have that thing where they just like their adrenaline.
She's also
goes
like
so
the owner of
crazy.
Physique 57, so she's got muscles
Yeah,
that girls don't
yes.
have.
Yes. Shout out to Physique
Shout out to
57.
Sissy.
Yeah.
She's got a great body.
But nobody at that point, right after, nobody did anything. But she took him down, and he ran away. And she was like, "Not today." So I don't know. Like that. That's one of the. We've lived there our whole life, most of our lives, and that's the only thing that's ever happened. But I think, I always feel very safe there.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I feel safe there. But I'm
My daughter's going to New York tomorrow. She's a big fan of the city. She's always there too. She loves it there, and she says she felt unsafe more in Vegas than she felt in New York City.
I'm actually really surprised to hear that about Vegas. I thought it would be very safe. I mean, it is such an industry. We have people coming from all over the world, and I'm really surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
If you go on the strip now, I mean, I go on the strip. I'm like a weird local because I still go to the strip all the time because I'm a poker player, and it's bad there. I mean, there is homeless everywhere. I mean, it's really bad.
Well,
Really?
like California too. It was funny. I was in Pacific Heights, and I thought, God, I miss California. I lived out there, and I actually really loved it because I love the mountains. And but the minute I left Pacific Palisades, like literally 10-block radius. I was like, oh, this is what everybody's talking about.
Right.
And it was honestly like you started to go like, okay, I need to head back up the hill. I need to get out of here. And I wasn't prepped, I was just going in this la 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 kind of walk. It was like so pretty. But no, it's definitely, yeah. And it's also more mental illness, and that's the only thing that you don't know. Like, you know how to kind of maneuver somebody that's strong walking towards you that looks like they're causing harm. You either dart away, dart the building, whatever. But the mentally ill, it's really it's quite unfair to them that they're out there, like
that's
that.
true.
And
And you
they're
and I
not
do a
being
lot.
cared for.
And we both do a lot for causes for people with mental illness. So
Yeah, we have a really good governor here. They put some great programs. We have some really good judges now in place that are really handing sort of nice little easy sentences and maybe some work and some meetings and like the halfway house. I mean, that's what's great about it is that these guys can stay for 6 months with an ankle monitor, rehabilitate their life.
Right.
There's a lot of kids out there without purpose too. Danny, like trade. Not everybody's going to be a doctor or a lawyer. And
Yeah, I agree.
need to work. We all need to be productive citizens. And I think if you're not, it just leads to issues and the downfall of
Right.
us all.
And just listen, for me being a cop, I realize there's a lot of homeless people. Like you said, they want to be homeless. They don't want help.
Yeah.
They have mental illness. They'd rather live on the street. It's weird, but they don't want help.
Well,
It's strange.
Shelters aren't necessarily the safest place
Yeah,
either. So do you
Yeah.
really want your kid in a shelter?
What I did was, just so you know, on TikTok, a company reached out to me that sells socks, and what they do is, for every sock they sell, they give a free pair to a homeless person. So I made a deal with them through my TikTok, and they gave me over 500 pairs of socks, and I handed them out here in Vegas to all the homeless. We actually went down. You know where the tunnels are? There's tunnels in Vegas where all the homeless people live. So I gave it to this organization that goes in these tunnels and takes care of these people that live in the tunnels here in Vegas. So all them socks were given to them. I guess for homeless people, clean socks are the main thing they want. They don't have clean socks. They don't, you got to take care of your feet. And that's the main thing with homeless people. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy because we have a ton of them.
Yeah,
Ton.
they're prone to infection.
Oh my
I'm
God.
surprised that there isn't more like viruses and disease out there because when you really think about it, and even in San Fran, I mean, where are these people using
Well, San
the
Fran.
laboratories? Like where,
I know.
what it's kind of astounding, isn't it, that that's the state of our country?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Out there in San Francisco. I used to live out there. Yeah, no, it is unbelievable what has happened to that.
Well, listen, we have 2 minutes left. So how about we let you guys plug your TikToks, your Instagrams, whatever you got on social media. I know you have a big following on Instagram. You want to plug it?
I'm Margaret Bastic Loose on Instagram and TikTok. I have a small little following at TikTok. I have fun with it.
Make sure you follow me on TikTok or message me and I'll follow you, okay? So I know.
But Margaret Bastic Loose on Instagram, I love it. I love Instagram. I have a fun time communicating on it. And
She's
then
great on Instagram.
and then I have another page called Elusive Loose, which is my kind of wellness consulting. I'm a wellness consultant.
Cool.
Ties.
Yeah, follow her. No, honestly, I learned a ton from.
I'll follow you. I'll follow you. Make sure you DM me though, so I know where.
You gotta
All
say all the crime away. You gotta like.
And you want to tell yours?
Mine's easy. Mine is just
Vicky Case Paris Hilton.
Vicky Case, VICKY, like a case of wine. 1, 2, 3. And I am going to be starting a podcast called Nobody Cares, and I'll come back on when we'll collab.
But let's go out and visit you. Let's go out.
I know.
And listen, I'll come on your podcast.
Yeah, it's my podcast, and I want to go play poker. So
No, and my bestie is, by the way, I go to the Billionaire Poker. You probably know all these guys. So every year I go in New York to the Billionaire Poker tournament. It's called the Billionaire Poker, whatever. But my girlfriend Emily Gillette, who's married to Penn, lives in Vegas, and she went. It was really funny. She went one night and literally was beating out the pros. Frankenthaler,
Oh my
Frankenmuller.
God.
Do you know that guy Frankenthaler, Frankenhaler, whatever it is?
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, I want to go home. But like, and it was like 12 o'clock and she made it to the end. It was
That's so
astounding.
cool.
So she's in Vegas and I've got to come.
I love
Actually,
Vegas.
you've got, who's playing at the Sphere now? The Eagles, right?
Yes.
The Sphere or Sphere? What do you call it?
Sphere, I think. I've been there. Listen, it's worth it. It's so worth it.
Yes, I want to.
Yeah.
Have you guys been there yet?
No.
Oh my God, I went. It is so worth it. It's the best. You're gonna love it.
You too. You too. You too.
You too.
Was
Yeah,
the
you
first.
too. And Coldplay.
And
Coldplay was there.
Yes, I want to go there so bad. Okay, we're totally going.
We'll go for like 24 hours. You know
Yes.
what? I got a little anxious there because there's no grounding. There was no grass like it. I thought everything was piped in, mall, air conditioning. It was just, everything was sort of like, I was feeling a little like I need to roll around in the grass. Kind of interesting, but it's really fun with her because she's a great girl.
Well, listen, thank you guys for coming on. I will definitely invite you on again. It was great convo.
Let's see what happens tomorrow with the Menendez.
All right, sounds good. Thank you guys for coming on. Good. All right.
Win, go win.